Okay, it's Coach Jay Sargent back with Sara Rhodes. And Sara is a human biologist with a tremendous background on all parts. She knows everything about the inside of your body. Believe me, she does. And for the last 5 years, she has been researching, using, has thousands of clients who are on this ketogenic pathway that I have just embraced in the last 6 months and loving it. So Sara and I, use the Pruvit products, and we have a whole review that you can go see on Pruvit products. There's a piece that we have on why Pruvit exogenous ketones are the best. But today we're talking very specifically about something called reboot. And I like reboot, sounds like rebirth, and rebirth is just such a strong concept. I love the idea that every morning is a blank slate, tabula rasa, and what we write on it is our destiny every day. So this reboot, it's a loaded term. I've always, Sara, by the way, in 25 years of coaching and counseling in the wellness weight loss space, we've done a lot of fast start programs, quick start programs. If you want to do I'm dying to hear this reboot. I don't know a thing about what you're going to say.
So thanks, Jay, for having me on. I'm always happy to be here. The reboot is actually probably my favorite topic because I've been using reboots actually for health reasons even before I started down the keto path. They work great with the keto lifestyle. They work great with ketone supplementation. The whole point of rebooting is to, like, what do you do with your phone whenever it starts going slow? Everything starts kind of mixing up. It's not working really, really well anymore. You reboot your phone. You do the same with your computer. Our bodies are very, very, very advanced machines, and they do need a reboot. And we were designed, a lot of people will call this fasting. We prefer the term reboot because we don't starvation fast. And fast really just means to go without something. So, I can fast from Pop-Tarts and that's it. Or I can fast from TV. So we like to call this reboot because it's more specific. We're talking about rebooting our metabolism and rebooting our bodies. And it's a really interesting process because since the keto wave has come into play, there's been a lot more focus on all things ketogenic, and intermittent fasting and rebooting are really, really big components of the ketogenic lifestyle. So what we prefer to do is a supplemented reboot. So we don't want you to just drink water. We don't want you to just drink whatever people have done in the past, tea with honey and cayenne pepper, or whatever all that crazy stuff is that people have done. We have spent a lot of time and a lot of research, and there's a lot of science that has gone into designing the perfect metabolic reboot. So whether you're just getting started, I'm new to keto, I don't know where to start, but I want to start off somewhere with something that will help me gain some ground and figure out where to go from here. Or you've been doing the ketogenic diet for 3 months, you lost weight for the first month and a half, and now you're at a plateau. Either way, like, rebooting is perfect for you. And not just that, but we do this monthly. So this is a monthly thing. Every single month on the second Sunday, like, there's a huge group of people that do a reboot together. So right now there's about 30 to 40,000 of us just on Facebook that do this together. There are more people out there, obviously, who aren't involved in social media who are doing this as a group. But it always helps to know that you're not alone in doing something. So the process that we go through when we're rebooting is we're going to give our GI systems a break. We're not going to be breaking down food. We're going to, like, your GI system controls, the estimate is about 80% of your overall health. So if you think about that system never, ever, ever getting a break, that's extremely detrimental, and it's not natural either. So we're going to give our GI systems a break. And to me, that's kind of the most important factor of doing a reboot. but we're also going to make sure that while you're giving your GI system a break, you have enough electrolytes, you have enough nutrients, you're not breaking down muscle tissue or going into starvation mode, you're not feeling really bad, you're not kicking your dog when you get home, like you're feeling good, you have energy, and this rebooting process is sustained through ketosis. It's very important, and I'll repeat, very, very important that you stay in a high level of ketosis during any type of food deprivation period, fasting, rebooting, intermittent fast, whatever you want to call it. If you're not consuming food, you need to be in ketosis. That's part of this program. If you are not in ketosis and you are not eating, which is, I have a lot of people who say, can't I just do water? No, you cannot. I will never coach you through that, because my point would never be to have someone break down muscle tissue or to be electrolyte deficient. Those are super important parts of being in a reboot process. And those are things that would happen during nature, because during a reboot in nature, we would already be in ketosis. We would be hunting for food. So it would be during a ketogenic diet period, our ketone levels would be high. So during this reboot, I'm going to walk you through real quick what exactly we're going to do. And it's super simple. Here's a little packet that it used to come in. It just says reboot on it. Now it comes in a cute little streamlined box. I don't have one with me. They actually ship out this week for this month's reboot. They used to come in these little silver packets, but it's just one package that comes with all the stuff you need. And it's got caffeinated and non-caffeinated ketones. So Keto Max, the most bioactive form of beta-hydroxybutyrate that you can possibly get. There's actually only 2 forms really that you can get. This is the bioactive one. So Keto Max, which has electrolytes in it also. You're going to get, hopefully I have both flavors. They only have one flavor, but you're going to get 2 flavors of the Better Broth, which if y'all are doing the keto thing, you've probably heard of bone broth. There's 2 flavors.
I haven't heard of bone broth. No.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, Jay the purist hasn't heard of bone broth.
No.
So bone broth is, some people make it out of chicken feet and all kinds of crazy stuff, but this is actually made out of I make it out of femurs, cow femurs. So basically what you do is you cook down the bone and then you use the broth. The broth has tons of nutrients. Bones are so nutrient dense. So in the bone broth, you have most of soup base, essentially, is what this tastes like. So if you're like a bouillon almost, there's a salted caramel version. You're going to get 2 of each in this little packet. The salted caramel, if you mix it with hot water, it tastes literally like hot caramel corn. It's delicious. And then this one has that salty, savory flavor, like a soup base. So you've got both of those flavors in this pack. These also have AC11 and they have the B6 and B12. Lots of B6 and B12.
Beautiful.
So something that happens during fasted states and reboot periods, you will break down unhealthy blood cells. So those B vitamins are going to help replenish the broken down blood cells with healthy new blood cells. That's very, very, very important. A huge benefit of fasting and rebooting that people don't really think about, because people are usually thinking weight loss. We're as a clinician, I'm thinking what actually happens health-wise, not just, great, you lose a couple pounds, that's awesome. But I'm thinking about the biology of your body, what's going on. We're breaking down damaged cells and making new healthy cells. That's hugely important, hugely anti-aging, anti-carcinogenic, all of these benefits that are going to go along with being in a reboot phase. So those B vitamins are really essential to making those new healthy cells. Then that doesn't count this. We have, these are really, really fun. So this is called Keto Calm Tea. And some of these products, I understand, are not on the Pruvit website. You can't buy them individually. They will be full-time released at some point, but right now they're only during reboots. So we have chocolate. This is hot chocolate flavored. And then this is the caramel apple. So this tastes literally like a caramel apple. I just moved back to Mississippi from St. Louis, and let me tell you, caramel apples are a big thing in St. Louis. I never knew they were such a big deal. But caramel apples I have learned to love. It tastes just like caramel apple. So these are your two types of tea. They also have the AC11, which I explained on the last video a little bit. AC11 is a compound that is found on the inside of a bark of a vine that grows along the Amazon River. It was originally used for burn patients. They were putting this extract on burn patients' skin. And what they noticed is that it didn't, because this vine keeps regrowing. Like no matter how many times you freaking cut it, the thing just grows back. It regenerates. So they thought, let's put this on burn people and see if it helps their skin regenerate. And it did. But it didn't just help their skin regenerate. They noticed that it was being absorbed through the skin into the blood, affecting them systemically and regenerating all of their cells. So how it does that is that it repairs your DNA. So everything in this kit, except for the actual raspberry lemonade ketones, has AC11 in it to help with DNA. So it also helps with apoptosis, which is self-destruction of unhealthy cells. It helps with cellular regeneration, like forming new healthy cells. And it's also a very strong anti-inflammatory, which we know that inflammatory processes lead to cell damage, leads to DNA damage, leads to aging, pain, all these different things. So AC11 is something really great to have on board, and you're getting a super dose of that during this whole reboot process. So then the last thing, this is my favorite, you get Signal OS. So Signal OS is a very strong dose of the AC11. So you've gotten it in the other products, but you're really getting it like in a little capsule in the Signal OS. So something else that happens when you're using AC11 is that your cells signal better to each other. So cellular communication is a huge thing when you're talking about overall health and how the human body works, because the human body is a system of organs that are made up of tissues, and all of these organ systems have to talk to each other really for the body to function properly. And when our cells aren't signaling properly to each other, then our systems aren't really functioning properly and being, synchronized and making this organism, us, the best that it can be. So the Signal OS really works to strengthen the communication signals between cells. So on top of that, it also has reishi mushroom extract, which is really, it's like a homeopathic remedy for almost everything. I mean, high blood pressure, blood sugars. It helps with regulation of heart muscle contractions, liver detox, so many different things that reishi mushroom does. So this is kind of just an overall detox, not detox in the sense that you're thinking like a cleanse, but a detox compound that helps your cells, like on a cellular level, purge toxins, but then also your cells communicate better, and it helps with the DNA. So all of the products being explained, pretty much what you're going to do on a daily basis. You're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to have a caffeinated keto. This is going to help curb your appetite, you're going to get energy, and it's going to preserve lean muscle tissue. So remember, we talked about we want to break down fat, we want to preserve our muscle. That's hugely important. No muscle breakdown during this process. Then you're going to have Signal OS. So you're going to have one of your little capsules. And then probably sometime around lunch, early lunch, you're going to have a better broth, whatever flavor you want. You have 2 flavors to choose from. And then a little while later, you're basically going to repeat the process, but with a caffeine-free keto. And then right before bed, you're going to have one of your teas. And you're going to do that for 2 days. So you're going to start this on a Sunday evening. This is why you get 3 keto calm teas, because on that Sunday evening at 8 o'clock, you're going to have a keto calm tea. And then the next day, you're going to go through that process we just talked about. Then on Tuesday, you're going to do the same thing. And then Wednesday morning, you eat again. So that's the whole reboot process. You really only go 2 days without food, but you're drinking so many different things. Some are salty, some are sweet, so you don't feel deprived at all through this process, but you get all of those important benefits, and we do that once a month.
Wow. I love it. I can't wait. And so you sort of have this big mob that does it together.
Yes, and the whole time there's doctors coming on and answering questions. There's people saying like, oh my gosh, I drank my bone broth an hour early. Is that okay? Like all these little questions that people have that for people who have been doing it for a long time, we're kind of like, well, that's silly. Of course it doesn't matter. But it's great to have a community of people who are all like, you have people constantly coming in. So there's people constantly on the same level. Like you have people like me who have been doing it forever. And then you have people who this is their very first time. They don't even really know what they're doing. They just ordered this kit and they're hoping they survive. So it's nice to have that support community with people who have been there, done that, and then also doctors who can just answer their questions. And then I also do private groups on this as well. So like we'll do this in our groups. We'll have a support team going with just the people that are in our groups.
Right.
So that you can have, you know, people who are affiliated with us, who are working with us, who are learning from us, will have us to reference during this period. And they'll also have a huge group of, 40, 50,000 people who they've never met before, who they can go to and just be like scrolling through the questions and see what's going on there as well. So having several support communities is awesome.
Sara, in a future video, literally a future video that we're going to do now, we're going to talk about this thing that I've been listening to for 25 years. And that is that moment that people inevitably hit a wall, the fabled plateau moment. And whatever support team you're ever going to build, whatever the protocol is, whether it's ketosis, whatever it is, that is such a hot topic. I don't want you to go into it too much now because we're going to really cover it in a dedicated video. But has it been your clinical experience that this thing called a reboot, one of its benefits is it can get people through and off of a plateau?
Absolutely. I've been coaching these reboots since about 2 years before this reboot pack came out.
Okay.
Which it was a lot harder back then because I would have to coach people like go buy this product from this company and this product, like trying to piece it together.
Mm-hmm.
It was much more time consuming and expensive, but I did it with tens of thousands of people with great results. And these people who I've been working with for 2 years doing this are now ordering one little package a month, and boom, it all comes in there, which is great. Like I am extremely pleased that there is a protocol to go by, support group to join. It's pre-packaged. You only have to order one thing. But that is the reason that I started coaching, because I was doing these myself like for years and years. But what I noticed is even when people are doing the diet perfectly, they're supplementing perfectly, they're doing all the things they're supposed to do, the human body is just a very, very, very smart machine. And so it gets accustomed to whatever you're doing that's right. And plateaus are completely normal, but there is a way to break through those. It's not just doing the reboot that you can break through the plateau with. That is a tool that I use for breaking through plateaus, but there are several different things that I recommend people do. And that is just one of the probably about 5 things that we're going to talk about in the next video that I recommend for people. You're going to hit a plateau at some point. I tell them this before they even get started. You're going to hit a plateau at some point, and when that happens, like, here's what we're going to do.
Perfect.
So we'll talk about that in the next video.
I love this reboot. So you do it once a month. When's it coming up?
This month, it's May. So those of you who are watching right now, or whenever you're watching, it's going to be the second Sunday of every month, unless this first is on the Sunday. So this month, it'll be on the 13th.
Perfect. Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Sara. This has been wonderful.
Absolutely.
I love it.
It's tons of fun. Everybody, we'll see y'all on this next video.
Next video, baby. I love it.